Alright, so we're going to be changing the air filter of the 2016 VITARA. Right, so this is how it's done. For me personally, let's start with the air filter. Now, my filter came in a box that looks just like this, right? Take note what type of air filter is on the box. This is not what is in the box, right? The air filters for these are slightly different. This is the model number of the air filter that came with the box itself, but this is the model number. Now, in this case, I've already changed my air filter, but I'm going to walk you through the process of how exactly you get that done. This is what the old filter looks like. So you notice it's not the same one that's on the box, right? So please make note of the model number, and please note that this is what the air filter looks like. You can notice the same exact code on the box itself, 13780-61M00, and it's the same one on the box. So please don't let the picture fool you. The next thing that we're about to discuss would be the tools required for this engine service, right? Very simple, right? Socket, right? If you don't have this and you have the one with the handle, that's fine as well. Or working in tandem with both is fine because you have the adapter right here, right? Cool. All right. Next up, you need 3 sockets. It's going to be the 8. It's going to be the 7 and the 10. Right. So the 7. And here's the 10 mil. All right. Okay, so let's start getting to label everything that's going around us. So this, the housing, the intake housing right here, it runs all the way through the grill. So this is what everything, all the air comes through. The grill, of course, you see you can easily pull these off with these tabs, but we don't need to touch the grill. Nor do we need to take off this plastic piece, right? We don't need to trouble this, right? All we need to do is remove the housing. Pardon me, remove the hose clamps right here, right? There's another clamp right here where my finger is, but we don't technically have to remove that. We can just remove this one and pull everything forward, right? So we remove this, the one that goes into the intake. So here, this clip, and this clip right here. We'll put out the dipstick, and of course, these. All right, so let's walk us through. This is the 7. This one here is the 8, and these are the 10s. Pretty simple. Let's get to it. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that you can actually use a flathead screwdriver and actually pull this out. Same thing with this one. And ultimately, you could use a Phillips right here. I wouldn't recommend using the Phillips and the flathead, specifically ones working with plastics, and especially because this is a hose. You don't want to, because for example, I have sharp Phillips, pardon me, sharp flatheads, and you don't want to slip and then end up puncturing one of these hoses, right? So my thing, this hose, here, you set to your 8. Alrighty, so this is an 8. Confirmed, this is an 8. Alright, nice and loose. Alright, let's get to these 2 10s. Alrighty, so we got this right here. You got this. Now we release the clip here. There's another clip around there. Release that clip. All right, next, dipstick handling. So I'm gonna pull this out. Alright, so it's as simple as one. Right here. You pull this, and this pulls it out of the intake right here. Now, what I recommend once you reach a step like this is to get a piece of oil cloth. You have one right here. The reason being is because you don't want something falling into the intake. Right? That's just a best practice my dad taught me. So once you pull this off, we're just gonna stuff the intake right there. All right, so everything should just wiggle right off, just like that. Now, please take a note that all this, right, is built into the top cover, right? All this is built into the top cover, all right? Now we have the air filter. Let me just dispose of the top cover right here. Alrighty, so this is where you just take out your new air filter and just replace it, right? Alright, cool. Set it in. Take out with the old in with the new. Now, here's how you assemble this thing. There are two rubber, like grommet type things right in the back right here. One here and one here, right? Underneath here, there's two little rubber. If you pull it, you can realize that you can pull up, and the feet are stuck within the grommet. What you have to do is actually gently pull it out. So what you realize is that you won't be able to actually lift. Pardon me. You won't be able to actually put this assembly back together without taking this off. So you have to pull it out of the housing. Now, of course, it's rubber, so you got to be a little bit gentle, right? So everything comes out. All right, it's time for the assembly. Points to note: these clips can fall off, so you need to be very careful with dealing with these clips. They can fall off. It's very easy to put them back in if they do fall off, but you need to be extremely careful with handling these clips. If they fall into the engine bay, you know the mess that can happen with that situation already. All right, so be very careful of how you take out the feet, and be very wary of these clips. All right. All right, so here we grab this. We line it up with this housing. The two little feet here. Sure those go in nice and tucked. All right. These are up. Then you go ahead and just lock these on to the body of the cover. Once you got everything sealed up, the feet are in, go ahead and just clamp everything together. All right, that's it. Things all put together. So this is where you go ahead and safely remove your cloth if you have one tucked into the intake. Alrighty, now we have to line up the rubber feet. Same feet we talk about. We have to line them up with these two holes and just put everything in, right? I'm probably going to end up doing that off camera just because it probably requires two hands. So give me 1 second, alright? Alrighty, so they are secure. 2 feet are properly secure within these rubber housings, right? And just do a double check, we do a little shake. Alright, so we're good. Alright, next step, we ensure that here goes back into the intake. Alright, then we bring the hose up right here. Alright, line this up, line this up. So for this, you want to make sure that the ring points at the top. Then you connect it back to this. Make sure a tug fit, right? There's a cutout right where it should be. Alright, bring this back to the top. Make sure that this is in. Clip 1, clip 2. Alright, now we need 2 10s. let's get this done first. So this is the 7. Alright, so we're good here. Now move on to the 8. One second, let me just see if we can get it. Alrighty, now we move on to the 10s. Nope. Alright, then we put this back in our dipstick. That's it. Alright, so we just do a double check. Ensure that everything makes sense here. So we have our 10s. Let's make sure the 10s are tightened. Alright, bam, bam. We check clip number 2 here. Check clip number 1. Rock it, make sure all the feet are well seated. It's okay. R. Alright. Just do a double check of number 7 here. Alright, so it's well seated. And the number 8, it's right here, it's well seated. Alright, so that's about it. All you do is pack up your tools now, and you have a air filter just changed.